Welcome back to our special coverage here of day one of the state funeral honoring Jimmy Carter.
It has been quite a morning, a very frosty, chilly morning all across the state of Georgia, with a lot of warm memories of a man who meant so much to so many for so long. If you take a look at the definition of Georgia over the last century, Jimmy Carter is right at the top of the list. He defines what the Georgia experience has been about, really post reformation of the South after the Civil War to trying to come together racially.
Yeah.
It has been an extraordinary journey for Jimmy Carter.
So many people feel a deep connection to him. Rebecca Lindstrom is in Americus this morning, where this all started at Phoebe Sumter Medical Center about 10:15 this morning. That's when we saw, for the first time, we saw the flag draped casket and that really poignant moment, Rebecca, where people who had worked with him for so long carried the casket into the hearse.
It certainly was a moving moment, and even as I read through the plan in advance, I just knew that was going to be one of those moments that just got you, for me especially, as the 9 Secret Service agents that were chosen to come and serve as his pallbearers here as his casket was moved from the hospital to the hearse. Just knowing the 40 years of dedication that were represented in that group, and that they would be walking alongside that hearse for a few steps, representing their final moments in his protective detail. And I don't know if the cameras were able to capture it at the time, but standing here, I saw that as they broke away and the motorcade continued on, they just started to comfort each other, gentle taps on the back, just a hand on the shoulder of reassurance. And you just think of all the years, the very intimate personal moments that they must have witnessed, being that close to Mr. and Mrs. Carter. And so watching them walk away, I think that was the moment that really hit me the most, knowing that that detail service was over. The Carters had specifically requested that even their family come and be part of the start of this public ceremony honoring the life of the president, because they knew all of the sacrifices that even the families have had to make over the years for those men to serve as his protective detail. So just really a poignant moment. For me, another moment was just seeing the signs of the individuals that came to stand along the motorcade route. And there was one that just said, "You are one of us. Thank you, sir." And I think we've talked about that a lot this morning, just that commitment that he had, not only to the country, not only looking at issues far and wide across the globe, but his commitment to his hometown community. And as we've been here in Americus throughout the week, we have just had people tell us how he would be in a store and he would always take time to want to shake your hand, or he didn't want a special entrance into an event. He just wanted to come in so that he could see and be with the people, and that he never shied away from that opportunity to just be with folks here in his community. I did have a chance to talk with his personal physician during the last 5 years of his life, and he walked with him through that process of moving into hospice, would check in with him as needed, certainly at least every 2 weeks. And he says that he was there when Carter breathed his last breath, and just said that the president was at peace and he was surrounded by family. I did have to take the opportunity, though, to ask them, since Mr. Carter was 100 years old when he died, what did he think was really that secret to his long life? And here's what he said.
He was in very good health. Even after he started having some problems, he took care of himself. He walked and he exercised, and he'd swim in his pool, and he ate a very healthy diet. He ate a lot of fruits and vegetables and berries and nuts, and he took care of himself. And his faith played a big role. He didn't worry about his health. He just put it in the hands of God, and he lived his life to the fullest.
Dr. Michael Raines made sure that he was also here this morning along with other staff from Phoebe Sumter, from the hospital, from hospice, all just wanting to give that send-off, that goodbye, needing that closure for themselves as well. And when I talked with Dr. Raines, I also asked him, as we've reflected with people here in the community, everybody has had something that they say has just stuck with them after spending time with President Carter. And so I asked him, for him, what is that? And he said that it was just proof that you can be anything you set your mind out to be, that with the tenacity and looking and creating the right opportunities, that you can achieve your goals and dreams. And I thought, even to have this medical professional, kind of reflecting on that and seeing that just embodied in President Carter was a wonderful testament to just the power and the impact that this man has had on so many lives. So again, just a very heartwarming scene out here as, now the folks have left, and it really was even a surprise as to how many people were out here today, honestly, because when I talked with the sheriff yesterday, I said, how many people do you think are going to line the motorcade route? And he thought that most folks were going to wait until President Carter came back for the, services and stuff that are happening next week before they came out to be a part of the motorcade. So we were a little surprised when we saw hundreds of people just lining the motorcade route. Again, just a really strong testament to his impact and the value that people have for his life here in this community. Live in Americus, Rebecca Lindstrom, 11 Alive News.